So a few years later, I ended up at my first real desk job away from flying, and what I discovered there was a whole bunch of people who worked a bit like me, who were in the Air Force but mostly didn't actually fly, and they had office jobs, and at lunchtimes they all went off for a run. So I just kind of tagged on with some of these people. I didn't actually run with many of them, but I kind of followed them with the idea and went off and went running. And I just kind of got into running again after I'd not really done it for about 16 years. Kind of rivalry over distances kind of grew. So I'm now 9, and we'll come back to my brother a bit later on. I got roped into a thing called Trail Walker. So Trail Walker, if you haven't heard of it, so first thing about Trail Walker, it's terribly named, because you say to someone you've done Trail Walker, it sounds like you've been for a walk. So Trail Walker is a 100-kilometre ultra marathon across the South Downs, run by the Gurkhas, raising money for the Gurkha Welfare Trust. A horrendous experience, Trail Walker.
You're selling this?
Yeah. Race the Stones, kind of influenced by the guys done it the year before. I decided I was going to do some proper training. Been stacking the miles up. But more of that in a minute. The longest runs I did in my training were both in this month, and there were two, well, there's one 20-miler and I did one 21-miler. More of that in a bit. So I decided to put in my start time and tinker around with it to try and find out, or basically make a plan for how I was going to get to the finish. So you can sort of bits where I really liked the start, because I knew it all, and I was very comfortable where we were, and a lot of other people were a bit confused about, hills and stuff. I mean, one of my golden rules, and I'll come to it in a minute, was I'd said to myself, again, going against what we'd done at Trail Walker, was I was going to walk every hill, because I was going to run, jog run, every flat and every downhill, and that was kind of when my brain got confused and tired, that was my rule of thumb that I was just going to stick to. Funny, this is part of my what an idiot I am element of the story. So about 3 years ago, I bought some new trainers. They're not these ones, they're the ones before this, but the same model, a week before I ran the London Marathon. And I just thought, I put them on, I think I wore them for a 5-mile run. I thought, they're fine. And I ran a marathon in them, and they were lovely. And I just thought, everyone says never do that. If you've got the right trainers and you know what you're getting, it's absolutely fine. So about a week before this run, and you can see them there with their red sole, I bought these trainers. I actually bought them, embarrassingly, with the money I got back from the Reading Half Marathon, and went and spent them in Sweatshop. And they had effectively the most recent model of the pair I like to wear, and I just kind of said, they're my size, they're my trainers, I'll have them, thank you. And so I think I've worn them again once, and then I wore them for this run. And lo and behold, it turns out, and I've brought them for a reason, there's a flipping ridge on the inside of these trainers that isn't on the previous model. My feet, effectively on, well, you'll see the picture of the blisters, that rubbed it there, not like a surface blister, but it's like really deep, and it just really hurt, like my feet, made my feet really sore. And I got to the checkpoint number 4, and my feet were really hurting. And my wife was there with Isabel, my youngest daughter, with my spare pair of trainers in the bag, and I didn't change them. Minutes. I just completely forgot I had it on. The only time it was annoying is once you drunk nearly all the water and there's just a little bit in the bottom, it would go swish, 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 swish. But as long as it was at least kind of, a third to a half full of water and you had a few bits and bobs in it, it was absolutely fine. So I was a huge convert, and I don't think you need to spend loads of money getting really high-tech gizmos, because not that I'm saying, this isn't good, but I don't think you need to get yourself worked up about, how high-tech your equipment is, because you can get away with all sorts of stuff. I've used the system a little bit because I wanted to finish as early as possible. So they had waves, they set you off in waves depending on how long you predicted you were going to take to do it, because they were trying to spread people out at all the different feeding stations so you didn't all end up arriving at the same time. So I thought I was going to do it in 15 hours, but there was a block that was something like 10 to 14 hours, or 14 hours to 18 hours, I think it was. Can you remember, Kerry, what the blocks were? I can't remember now. Something like that, anyway. And I just thought, if I put in 14 to 18 or whatever it was, I don't start till 8:30 or 9 o'clock, depending which window they put me in. If I say I'm going to do it in under 14 hours, they'll put me in the 7:30 or 7:45 window. So I had started at 7:45. So the reason I bring all that up, so I know I cheated a bit because I wasn't expecting to do under 14 hours, but it did mean I was running with a cohort of people who did think they were all going to be doing under 14 hours. But there wasn't one of them I spoke to who hadn't done a run over 30 miles at some point. So I was there quite happy chatting to people, and then it came up and said, oh yeah, of course, I'm still recovering from my 35-miler 3 weeks ago. And I was like, 35 And I thought I'd prepared really well with my two 2021 miners, but I'm sat at pit stop 2, and there were lots of chairs out for people to sit on. Irritatingly, all the chairs were full of people's supporters, so there were no chairs, so I was sat on the floor. And I picked up a sandwich, and so I take a bite of the sandwich, I put the sandwich down on the gravel, and I picked the sandwich up again, I bit, and something awful happened, and I broke off half one of my teeth. It was the halfway point, which is this, where Isabel had the temerity to say, "Come on, Daddy, run faster!" As I was trying to get up this kind of little halfway point. Was actually it was a real highlight, because I sat there for 20 minutes, I kind of reset myself, had to, some fun and laugh with Isabel and Adele. And then I didn't actually find, I don't know how you found it, Kerry, I think you found it the opposite, didn't you? I didn't actually find getting started that hard, because it looks a bit like the details got a bit thinned between the halfway point and pit stop 9. That's partly because I don't really remember much of it, to be brutally honest. A lot of it was like this, a lot of it was up and down on hills. I was very hot and tired for a lot of it. Pit stop 9 really stood out because Adele and Isabel were there again, and so it was lovely, and as I say, the temperature had dropped nicely, so I didn't have loads of hangers-on or family there to meet me, because I needed to kind of stay in the zone and just stick with my plan. And I was quite glad to kind of get there, fill up my water bottle, have my drink of flat Coke, eat a chocolate bar or whatever, or a muesli bar, gather my thoughts, and then head off again. It's quite nice to have a bit of a balance between family time, which was lovely, and to have cheering supporters and being told I needed to lift my knees and run a bit faster, but also, amazingly, over a 15-hour period or 14-hour period, quite a bit of consistent time of just trying to stay in the zone and thinking about, I just need to keep going, I need to keep the sort of pace that I was doing. And that's pretty much what you get to at the end. So this is the stones. What happens is you get right at the very end, you're on a little flat section, and they send you down towards where the stones are in Avebury village, because the finish is just a bit before Avebury. So you sort of go past the finish almost, run down to the stones. They send you around 2 of the stones, marked out with these little fairy lights, and they get your race to the stones picture. But as I said, I had my 2 hangers on. So, and I could see, we were coming up to this stones bit, and there was the photographer thinking, so this is the only bit where I stopped to walk and let them get ahead of me, just so I could get a picture on my own, so I didn't want to have them in the background. So I did catch them up again and everything before the finish. And then, in fact, that's one of them just there. And that's the finish, which was an interesting and emotional experience.